everyone, welcome to Divine Sacred Tarot. I haven't done a Divine Masculine reading in a while. It feels like I haven't, but I've been focused on the Divine Masculine energy coming through in the last few days. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, there's a lot of Divine Masculine's audio messages. And I feel like they have been quite prominent lately in terms of messages they want to share and how they're feeling, and messages directly from their higher self to the divine feminines. So I'm going to go ahead and keep shuffling. I'm going to do two more shuffles, and I'm going to be asking what the divine masculines are going through on a current soul awakening. I've had a block in my throat just as soon as I said that. What is the stuck energy that is coming through, right? What is the perception and the beliefs that they're leaving behind? And I had the premonition and a message come through about what proverbial glass ceiling, their own breaking, they are breaking for themselves, and particularly around spirituality and their own emotions. A lot of people have been influenced by their peers, by their family, by their society, by their nearest circle, based on how they can be perceived in this lifetime. So, you know, looking at masculinity as something that needs to be proven. And, if that doesn't happen, then it defeats the purpose of them being here, looking after individuals, such as family. So I feel like the divine masculines are rewriting their own version of what it means to have purpose, have drive, and then how can they integrate that in this sense of divine masculinity, including emotions, including spirituality, without having to shun them and block them away. So that is quite important when it comes to this type of energy. What is the divine masculines currently awakening to on a soul level when it comes to their own ascension around spirituality? Five of Swords is the first card that came through. Eight of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. And I'm so happy that we actually have the Hierophant. So we've got the Five of Swords and the number 5 card, the Hierophant. 555. Oh my God, it's literally 555 as I said that. I love when this happens. Okay, it is 555 on the clock. If you're seeing 555, it is very important because this is the divine masculines going through that level of soul reflection. It's 333 also on the timer. They are going through this balancing of their own yin and yang, their own divine masculine and feminine. Divine feminines, you have been told multiple times in multiple ways how you should be focusing on your own journey, how you should be focusing on what you want to nurture. And the divine masculine will find their way when it comes to that frequency. Now, the divine masculines are being ushered into doing that very thing for themselves. Some of them may still be unawakened, but what I'm getting is they are sensing this state of curiosity. They are being curious. They're working towards that, but it doesn't mean that it comes easy to them, because look at how much evidence divine feminines needed, right? And just as I split the deck, we've got the High Priestess. It's taken you guys a while to get to the High Priestess level of ascension. So the divine masculine, I'm loving that the Five of Swords and the Hierophant came out together, because the divine masculines are trying to find their own sense of logic in amongst all of this emotional turmoil, in amongst some of the reflection. And they are working towards that. They have this mix of, there's logic on one side and then nature, I'm hearing, but also magic on the other. So they're trying to integrate the logic and the magic, the intuition, and sometimes they can butt heads. So there is this sense of being logical, but also being intuitive, that the divine masculines are currently having to battle through. What is the past beliefs or conditioning that the divine masculines are breaking free from? What is the past beliefs or conditioning that they are breaking free from? Now, I haven't spread out all the cards like I usually do. I felt that this actually needed cards to be thrown. Now, this happened the other day in an Instagram reading. Oh no, it was the Divine Sacred Tarot members. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you're not a part of the Divine Sacred Tarot membership, I show you the cards and This recent newsletter was all about dissecting it a little bit more. So it's not just a newsletter to say, hey, how's things going? It is genuinely more information from you. So if you want a video every week that doesn't have ads in between, that has newsletters with more information, head over to divinesacredtarot.com and you could join the membership for so little a month. It's like, I think it's like a Spotify membership equivalent. But listen, I've split the deck. The Temperance card came out in the inverse, you guys. What past beliefs or conditionings are they breaking free from? The Temperance came out in the inverse. The fact that they had been imbalanced, the fact that they had been topsy-turvy, turned on their head, and they didn't believe that. They didn't believe in their intuition and their emotions, and they didn't want to prioritize that. They wanted to compartmentalize that because it just wasn't the time to make room and space for that. We've also got the Hanged Man, and I split the deck, and we've got the Devil. So we've got 3 major arcanas come out for the Divine Masculines right now. Their past path. Okay, I've just had a really recent message. It says the past path had actually kept them stuck in that devil space energy. The ego has been pronounced. Their version of what a masculine should be was a lot of toxicity, a lot of control, a lot of uncertainty. Because they didn't want to feel what they wanted to feel, because they didn't want to be hurt again, and they didn't want to release that control onto somebody else. That's the current belief or the conditioning that they are breaking free from, but it really depends on that previous card, the 8 of Pentacles. How much work are they putting in order to overcome that? So how is the Divine Masculine's perception of the Divine Feminine shifting at this very time? Now, these readings are timeless. Whenever you find this reading, it is going to be relevant for you. Please do click the like button, hit subscribe if you're not already part of this community, and let me know what resonated in this reading, because I love reading your comments and I love hearing from you. How is their perception of the Divine Feminine shifting? The 2 of Swords wanted to come out. And the bottom of the deck, we have the 6 of Cups. Now, for some reason, I thought that would be the 10 of Cups. I don't know why. It felt like a 10 of Cups, but it's almost as if the 6 of Cups wanted to show up because it feels like it is an alliance with their own past self. And what I mean by that, they see a future that is tied into you, Divine Feminines, because they saw the past version of themselves that wouldn't have aligned with you. Okay, that is very specific for somebody in particular. 2 of Swords is making a decision on that. So either they have thought about you in the past and the past is tied in, or somebody from the past is actually threading and weaving a new path about the future. Let's see if are there any other messages around the 2 of Swords and the 6 of Cups? Thank you, Spirit. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands. Some of you have already been physically involved with your person. Okay, that was quite a lot of cards. I'm only going to take the ones that flipped. And the ones that flipped were the 4 of Pentacles in the inverse. They're no longer holding on to things that are not worth their time. They're letting go and they're struggling to let go. This is another 5 card. They're struggling to let the past version of themselves go in order to create and harmonize a future. The 4 of Wands, a marriage, a commitment, a celebration. So the perception of you, Divine Feminines, only is a result of their own mental beliefs. You know how sometimes they say, not sometimes, but they do say, the perception of you is on the other person and how the other person sees you. So your parents see you differently, your friends and family see you only in their eyes. You can't be seen in anybody else's eyes. They have a perception and a reality of you based on their stories. Their old stories is very negative about love. Their perception of you had been very negative. But now it's this rewriting of a chapter that they know they can change, because they need to let go of the old version of them that saw you as somebody who would get them into trouble or somebody who they couldn't trust or be involved with. Like that's the type of energy I'm getting. What is the emotions the divine masculines are struggling to process during this transformation? What is the emotions that the divine masculines are struggling to process? Please give us a clear card about the emotions. Thank you, Spirit. Nine of Swords. Okay, so the Queen of Cups and the Nine of Swords came out. Hanged Man is now at the bottom of the deck again. They're feeling stuck on an old cycle about how to process their emotions. They may have nightmares. They may have sleepless nights. They may be communicating with you on the astral plane. If you're seeing your person's name, if you're messaging them, or if you're seeing them in this astral body, there is heavy communication between both your higher self and their higher self, but also the old version of them. So they're struggling to process their emotions, but the astral realm, the dream state, is actually helping them. And I'm also seeing the death card, which is the death and rebirth of the old version of them. So the old version of them couldn't process their own emotions. And this ceiling, this part of the glass ceiling that needs to be broken during this death and rebirth cycle. What is the subconscious fears that are surfacing as the divine masculines step into their true power? What is the subconscious fears? Thank you, Spirit. The Seven of Swords. I am very aware that the Seven of Swords and the Devil card came up in a previous reading, only yesterday, I think it was. They're struggling because that subconscious fear of betrayal, heartache, pain, loss of control, the fear of abandonment, all of those things are coming through. All of the ways that they can sabotage this connection are coming through as they're stepping into the true power. They're seeing the obstacles, they're seeing the challenges, and some of them will overcome it, but some of them will be scared stiffless into being mute, into silence, into cutting off communication. What is the divine masculine's heart opening and what are they learning about love? Now, the Page of Wands flew out even before I finished that sentence, that question. I'm sensing that now it's really difficult. They want to go from non-committal to committal. They want to go from being a player to not. Why is the Page of Wands here? They want to play more. They want to go on more adventures. Why is the heart opening connected to the Page of Wands? One card, please. Oh, okay, thank you. Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles indicates this. There is no me without you, I just heard. I don't want to go forward without having you as a part of my life, without sharing things with you. I'm seeing a lot of 9-9 here as well. The heart opening is about learning about how to trust the individuals, trusting themselves, having faith in making the right decisions. Oh, that was very awkward because a lot of cards literally just flew down. I'm not going to take them all, but there are quite a few. 10 of Swords, a 10 of Wands. Their heart opening has been very difficult. It's almost like they had to pry it open with a crowbar because they sealed it shut for such a long time. They've forgotten how to be safe in that energy. What is the new spiritual lessons that the divine masculines are integrating right now? The spiritual lessons that the divine masculines are integrating. Thank you, Spirit. 10 of Cups. And then the 5 of Pentacles. What did I say? I think we've got 4 fives on the table. The 5 of Pentacles is not seeing that you hold the key to this emotional happiness. The divine masculines don't seem to see the abundance of what's forthcoming, what they already hold, what they already know, how they can actually step forward into the divinity, into their true transformative divine masculine power, because they're not seeing. This 10-5 is very abundant. When you've got a 10 and a 5 in a tarot deck, especially if they come out together, it's much more powerful to say that the key to their own happiness lies within them. And they're trying to integrate that spiritual lesson that they need to not only depend on themselves for their own spiritual growth, for their own heart integration, for their own lessons about truth, honesty, trust, and love. They need to be honest about how they feel to themselves. King of Swords, King of Cups. That's what they need to be invested in. They need to be invested in their own happiness. They need to be invested in creating a new reality. New cards came out. What are they? The Five of Wands. Okay, we genuinely have all the fives right now. And the Ace of Wands in the inverse. What does this mean? They're struggling to upskill themselves, to find abundance within themselves. This is a struggle. 10 of Wands wanted to come out too. How is this connection to the higher self or inner guidance evolving for the divine masculines? How is the connection to the divine masculine's higher self or inner guidance evolving? One card, please. Oh, thank you. I love when that happens. Seven of Pentacles, sowing new seeds. Sowing new seeds into trusting themselves. This path is very hot, very warm. You know how somebody's playing hide and seek and saying, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer. This is spirit saying you're getting warmer, divine masculines. You are getting warmer too, finding the way to give and receive divine love when you're in rest, when you're in peace, when you're in love with yourself. What is the karmic cycle that are coming to an end for the divine masculines? What karmic cycles are coming to an end for the divine masculine? One card, please. Oh, thank you. I love when that happens. It always like gives me some surprise. But the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands. Karmic cycles can only come to an end when you want to envisage a better future. Page of Cups this time. And the Tower card at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, the Two of Wands will only manifest. The cycles will only come to an end when you choose for them to come to an end. When you're looking forward instead of backwards. That's the type of energy that the divine masculines need to be in. Joy, excitement, happiness, dream-like state. I'm seeing rainbows here. I'm seeing daydreaming. Thank you, Spirit. When I said daydreaming, the Empress card came out. How is the divine masculines being guided towards deeper balance within themselves? Wow. Okay. Three of Cups and the Star card. The Three of Cups is about balancing by appreciating themselves. You know, be more compassionate to yourselves, divine masculines. Love yourself as if you would your best friend. Talk to yourself as if you loved you. And that's being guided towards this 333 type of energy. You know, we've got the Empress card is already out, the Three of Cups. And we've got the Moon in the inverse and the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. So things become clearer when you are more loving to yourself, divine masculines. Things become clearer when you treat yourself as the way you need to be treated. King of Pentacles also wanted to come out. The Emperor is the epitome of a divine masculine. So you're being guided towards the balance within yourself by creating harmony within your own divine masculine and feminine energies, within your peer groups. You know, finding the illumination around that area is going to transpire and lead you to a higher power of the divine masculine Emperor energy. What are the energies that the divine masculines are embodying in relation to the divine feminine who may be listening? Remember, this is a general reading. If you want to book a personal reading with me, head over to divinesacredtarot.com. The link is in the description box. What is the divine masculine currently embodying in relation to the divine feminine, the King of Cups? Now, isn't it funny? We did have the emotions causing a stir, right? We said that they needed to be more transparent with their own emotions. They needed to break through that glass ceiling. And it feels as if they're embodying their emotions because of you, feminines, who are embracing and embodying yours. And now we have the King of Pentacles. What does this mean? They're breaking away from the old versions of themselves. The energy that they find in you raising higher for your spiritual journey and your emotional balance is actually being mirrored to the divine masculines. What message does the divine masculine's higher self want the divine feminine to receive? Any messages that the divine masculine's higher self want the divine feminines to receive? Thank you. Okay, I'm just waiting for any cards to pop up rather than me pick them. It feels as if the divine masculines are stuck in terms of how much they want to say and saying too much too soon. You know, that's the type of energy that I'm seeing right now. Their higher self wants to tell you everything, but they also don't want to overload you with too much, you know, bombarding you with everything that's been going on because they don't know where to start. They don't know how to initiate this type of conversation with you in the 3D. So they are speaking to you in the higher self, in their astral self. They want to gauge how warm you are to this connection, you know, how much you've let go. The Two of Pentacles, yeah, they're in this indecision. They want to reach out, but they can't. They want to sink in with your higher self, the High Priestess, the Seven of Wands, the Lover's card. They want to come in with this bearing of their soul, you know, speaking out what their heart wants, but they're afraid that it's going to bite them in their back. They're afraid that you're not going to honor or see their true self. They're afraid that it's too late. Wow, the Tower card wanted to come out, and the Three of Swords and the Devil. Like honestly, the Three of Swords, the Devil card, the Tower card, like it's also behind the Six of Cups, the Strength, and the Three of Pentacles. They're being shown every single fear right now, which is why we had the Seven of Swords earlier regarding their fears. Every single subconscious fear about a connection is coming up for them now. And my throat chakra is blocking up again. This is preventing them from reconnecting with you because they do need a lot of strength to connect into this new foundation. Excuse me. What is the next phase of the Divine Masculine's journey? How can they best navigate this? Thank you, Spirit. Six of Swords. By movement forward, movement emotionally, movement physically, movement spiritually. Oh, wow. Letting go of burdens. 10 of Wands, the Sun card. The Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands, this new beginning, speaking up for what they want, letting the fire burn and not just burn in the sunshine, burn the darkness, burn the old patterns, burn the old version of themselves. You know, making a decision to actually move forward, having the Strength card, and the Three of Pentacles is still at the bottom of the deck, having the strength to move forward with conviction, with courage, with honor, with trust, with values that they know you align with. This is such a beautiful message. Last card, 10 of Swords. Honestly, these cards wanted to come out pretty much throughout this reading. What this is telling me, the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, they came out earlier and they didn't actually come out. I just saw them as I split the deck. But what I'm seeing is only they can manifest and create their future. If they want to stay stuck, they will continue to stay stuck. If they want to do the work, they will see it affecting their whole future. So if they're open to a new beginning, they get to create that. They get to harmonize with their own emotions and they get to be in this boundless state of love, of magic, of intuition, of bliss. But they need to understand that it is up to them to do the work. You know, we have that Eight of Pentacles right at the bottom of the deck at the beginning. This is karmic justice playing out. They cannot just have everything as easily as the snap of their fingers. Everything that they've done so far has been to overcome the older narratives, and overcoming those old narratives means starting afresh and giving themselves the compassion to love themselves more than they've ever been loved. And then they'll be able to recognize what that means in an external connection. Guys, if you resonated with this, please do click the like button, send me a comment, and tell me how you feel about these messages. What was the one thing that resonated for you? I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being here, liking, subscribing, commenting. I love you so much. Bye for now.